yoga, Viniyoga, which is what Krishnamachrya taught. And Viniyoga, that sounds familiar perhaps, but it is, and it should be, because it's one of the underlying principles of Krishnamacharya's work, and that is that there's a yoga practice, and a practice that is for the individual. Everyone has a practice that is best for them. And that's what we are doing here at bodyawareness.com.au with me, Patrick. We're going to try and build you a practice that you can integrate into your life to make things more intimate, more connected to the heart, easier, because you're doing these wonderful flowing movements with the breath that are obviously good for the body, because look at that. There's no strain in that. We're not trying to get anywhere in these poses, but the natural result of doing the movements, the natural result of a forward bend is that you're engaging all these incredible muscles. For example, the psoas muscles, which comes from inside the hip up through the abdomen and then connects to the ribs. So when you're breathing, your psoas muscle is working. How wonderful of our body to coordinate legs and lungs. And when you do a simple forward bend, and we're not talking about Uttanasana, where the knees, caps are pulled up into the thighs and the thighs are pulled up into the hips, and there's broadness across the feet and the foundations of the pose, with the inner arches lifting and the top of the foot rolling towards the inner arches and the thighs rolling in. Don't worry about all that. It's about connecting to the breath and the movement. We're talking about connecting this movement of the inhalation and inhaling. And it doesn't matter whether you're seated or whether you're standing, whether you're on the train or not. Let's just do this very simple move, this forward bend, and we're going to talk about it. So we'll work backwards, right? So we'll work from those who have had the years of experience or have got those open bodies with, hamstrings that allow them to have their legs kind of pretty much straight. I'm not saying straight because you just want a little bit of a bend in there because it's good for the body. So, principle 1 of Krishnamacharya, the movement of the body is the movement of the breath. The movement of the breath is the movement of the body. It's gold without the double twisty, wordy thing that it does. But when you combine the two, it really gives you a lovely place to reflect on how integrated this body is when you're combining the breath and the movement and the mind, right? So inhaling and then move. Inhale, hands come around the body. Tailbone tucking under, a little bit of a back arch through the sternum. Exhale, then move, hands coming around the body, all right? It's simple, but it's powerful. Doesn't matter how much experience you've had. If you haven't combined these principles, you are going to have a really good day, because it's going to give you the information that perhaps is missing in your practice. And this is getting back to that original point of Viniyoga. This is for everyone, this simple move of hands coming around the body, that inhalation as receptivity, that exhalation, belly coming in and up, pulling up from the perineum, Uddiyana Bandha. I know that's a little bit advanced, but we're here for everyone. If not, just a little forward bend, yeah? Forward bend, staying there with the breath. Inhaling, you can come into a little bit of a back arch as you look forward. Or exhaling, just staying there. Weight even through the feet. And then when you're ready, on the next inhalation, coming up. Let the arms bring you up. See, the arms are bringing me up. Yeah, there's hardly any strain or struggle. Exhale, hands come to the heart center. Okay, so believe it or not, we had four of Krishnamacharya's principles in that simple movement of the body is the movement of the breath. Just work on that one for some of your practice, and it will bring you to your heart. The second principle, I said it was inhale as receptivity. You've got to be able to receive this breath, this movement, because this strength that you're building without receptivity, it's going to destroy itself, really. It's important to have this receptiveness in the inhalation, and then that strength with the exhalation. So the inhalation, the chest expands, front of the chest, back of the chest, the side ribs, yeah. And then the exhalation, the belly coming in and up. The third principle that we had in there is the breath envelops the movement. We're talking about when my hands are up here and I said, then start the exhalation, then move. So start the exhalation, exhale, and the hands coming down around the body. Finish the movement and then finish the breath. Yeah. There are the first three. The fourth one, I spoke about how Mula Bandha, pulling up from Mula Bandha on that exhalation, the Uddiyana Bandha being created, that cave in the belly on that exhalation, on that forward bend. We are this close to start talking about Kumbhaka, which is that breath retention after inhalation and exhalation. Whoops, I just spoke about it, but we'll be incorporating it into the next practice perhaps. But I promised you a wee practice in a seat. So for those who are riding on a train, on a bus, on a plane, this is something that you can do anytime, anywhere. Was I really teaching yoga with shoes on? Oh my goodness. It was all because of the Tai Chi. Blame the Tai Chi. No, look, don't blame anything. It's much better to do your practice without shoes on. And how do we incorporate what we were just speaking about with regards to sitting in a chair? And perhaps a bit of an angle might be better, because we're going to be having these subtle movements. So hands are going to be here. We're going to start from not very much movement to something a little bit more extreme. So coming forward on the front of the chair and the hands loose, and inhaling, just bringing them up to in front of the chest. Exhaling, dropping the hands down to back onto the knees. One more time. Inhaling, hands in front of the chest. Exhaling, hands coming back to on top of the knees. Inhale, then move. So that's the third principle. Inhale to the chest, chest expands as receptivity. There's the second principle. Exhale, the movement of the breath is the movement of the body. The movement of the body is the movement of the breath. What do you know? We got all three in. Now we're going to try and get the bandha in with a little bit of movement. But this is for people who don't have a lot of room, or don't want to can't be bothered getting up, or can't get up, or whatever it is. But we're just going to be rocking a little bit forward and a little bit back. Okay, so inhaling, hands coming up, a little bit of a back arch, looking up, and exhaling down. Chin slightly down to a lifted chest. Inhaling. And exhaling, forward bend. See, the hands are a little bit lower. Inhale, chest expands. Exhale, hands move. Belly coming in and up. Pull up from the perineum. Feel that up the spine. Relaxing there. And then inhale to the chest. Looking up, tailbone tucking under if you can as you get that back arch. And exhale to the hands to the heart center. All those principles of Krishnamachrya into a very simple, just back and forward, back and forward. A chair is not ideal, but if that's where you're at, then that is where you're at. And each time you do it, if you're doing it regularly, then you're going to notice the progress. Not just in what you're doing, but how you feel about what you're doing and your reason for doing it. So, as they say in Cambodia, akon. Akon. Thank you.